They're cute when they're little. That meme applies to a lot of things, especially baby alligators. And don't think you can just flush the poor thing down the toilet once its cuteness wears off either. When body parts start washing up out of the sewer system, you'll know exactly why. One of my fondest memories of childhood is going for walks with my mother. We always tread a familiar path, a path with a sizable storm drain along the way. It was a storm drain with a large steel access door that I would jump on whenever we walked past, creating a loud, echoing clang. I was a kid. It seemed like a good idea at the time. One day after jumping on that access door with all my might, my mother told me to be careful. An alligator lived down there, she warned, just beneath that steel door. This set off my young and morbid imagination. I would dare myself to jump on the thing whenever I was near, knowing full well that an alligator was down there, lurking in the shadows, just waiting for that steel door to give. Of course, there was no alligator, and when I told my mother some years later that for the longest time I had believed quite the contrary, I remember her sinister cackle. I was a gullible little kid. I eventually heard about the urban legend regarding albino alligators lurking down in the New York City sewer system. Kids acquired them when they were babies, only for their parents to flush them down the toilet. Thus are the opening moments of Louis Teague's Alligator. Only substitute LA for New York, and instead of an ordinary alligator, we've got a monster on our hands. Now it's up to a homicide cop played by Robert Forster and a herpetologist to piece things together and kill this rogue gator who's making a buffet out of the greater Los Angeles area. See, the gator has been dining on the remains of animals who've undergone dubious experiments involving hormones. Eating the carcasses of these poor animals has caused our gator to grow the size of a station wagon with teeth and a big appetite. Alligator is a movie that I've loved for the longest time. It's a movie that I tried to catch every time I saw it playing on cable television while growing up. It's a creature feature, an urban Jaws, you could say. But it rises above being just another creature feature or Jaws wannabe. It does so thanks in large part to a smart screenplay by John Sayles. Sayles' snappy dialogue, amusing character interactions, and the little things, like Forster's Detective Madison being sensitive about his male pattern baldness, go a long way to add personality, charm, and depth to a low-budget killer alligator movie. Sayles even adds in a dose of social commentary. You know, when man tries to alter nature's design and nature, in turn, bites a man in the ass. In this case, literally. The cast is also a big plus and full of familiar faces. Robert Forster does what Robert Forster did best. He's charming, charismatic, and infinitely likable. Robin Riker, Michael Gazzo, Stanley Lassick, and Henry Silva round out a very strong supporting cast. And how can I forget Ramon? Who's Ramon, you ask? Why, the alligator, of course. Ramon is up to no good. When he's not eating people whole, Quint style from Jaws, he's crashing a fancy wedding reception where the partygoers are his hors d'oeuvres. The design of Ramon is pretty good, but director Louis Teague is wise, only showing the full-scale gator once. Teague limits Ramon's appearances to shots of the head, mouth, and tail. The business ends. A real alligator was used for certain shots, featuring miniatures of city streets or the sewer system to make Ramon look all the more impressive. Teague is able to create some nice tension, and the last act of the film is a bloody, chaotic blast. Alligator is such a fun movie. I cannot recommend it any higher. When I heard that Scream Factory was releasing the film, and on 4K no less, I was overjoyed. This is definitely the best Alligator has ever looked. It's not a spectacular 4K presentation though. If I had one very minor gripe about Alligator, it's that it kinda looks like a made-for-television movie. So visually, it's not the kind of presentation that's really going to pop, even in 4K. Still, there's a high level of detail here, the skin tones look natural, and the colors are fairly vivid. Overall, I'd give the picture quality on this release a solid 4 out of 5. Same thing for the audio quality, I'd give it a solid 4 out of 5 as well. As far as extras are concerned, first up we have Gator Guts, The Great River, and Bob with Bryan Cranston. It's 22 minutes and 17 seconds in length. Mr. Cranston discusses getting hired on as a production assistant on Alligator, first in the production office and then as the assistant to the assistant to the assistant of special effects, wherein his duties were to make alligator blood and guts that he ladled into Ziploc bags, which he then stuffed into the full-scale alligator. He discusses shooting in the LA River, having a conversation with Robert Forster, which turned out to be a seminal moment in his life, and reminding Forster of their conversation when he was a guest star on Breaking Bad in 2013. This was a really fun interview with Bryan Cranston. He started his career making alligator blood and guts that he put in Ziploc bags and then stuffed into a big rubber alligator. But I think it's really cool that he even sat down to do this interview, considering that, I mean, he's a pretty big star today. But again, started his career creating alligator blood and guts, ladling the blood and guts into Ziploc bags, and stuffing the bags into a big rubber alligator. I don't know. I found it very inspiring. Next, we have Everybody in the Pool with Robin Riker. It's 7 minutes and 33 seconds in length. Ms. Riker discusses her character in Alligator, how delightful Robert Forster was to work with, sharing a joint with Mr. Forster on the set, working with Ramon, the alligator, and the film's longevity, and more. Next, we have Wild in the Streets with director Teague. It's 24 minutes and 32 seconds in length. Mr. Teague discusses working with John Sayles to rewrite the script, the urban legend of albino alligators living in the sewers of New York, and casting Robert Forster in the lead. He discusses the alligator, how it was built, how it worked, minimizing the usage of the full-scale gator because it looked a little wonky. He discusses shooting in the storm drain system of Los Angeles using miniatures to make the real alligator look much bigger. He discusses the film's success, how it launched his career, his refusal to see the sequel, and more. Next, we have Luck of the Gator with special effects artist Robert Short. It's 12 minutes and 28 seconds in length. Mr. Short discusses how impressed he was with the full-scale alligator design, the stage blood, creating a dog carcass, various severed limbs that had been previously used in Piranha, and more. Next, we have It Walks Among Us with screenwriter John Sayles. It's 9 minutes and 35 seconds in length. Mr. Sayles discusses rewriting Alligator and what inspired his rewrites, such as his desire to own a baby alligator as a kid, the urban legend of alligators in the New York City sewer system. He discusses being pleased that Robert Forster was cast, naming the alligator Ramon, killing the alligator without destroying it because they had a deal to give the full-scale Ramon to the University of Florida so that they could roll it out during football games, and more. So Mr. Sayles had to write an ending where they destroyed Ramon without actually destroying Ramon so that they could give Ramon to the University of Florida. And I wonder how long Ramon lasted with the University of Florida and how many times they rolled him out. That's something to research. Next, we have Alligator author with screenwriter John Sayles. It's 17 minutes and 19 seconds in length. It's a vintage interview with Mr. Sayles. We have the TV cut additional scenes, which come in at 8 minutes and 1 second in length. We get the teaser trailer, the theatrical trailer, and TV spots. We get the Trailers from Hell segment on Alligator with filmmaker Karen Kusama. We get a newsprint ad gallery and a still gallery, and we get an audio commentary with Teague and Robert Forster. This is an awesome 4K UHD release for Alligator from the fine folks over at Scream Factory. Both the picture quality and the sound quality on this 4K presentation were fantastic, and we get loads of new and old extras to sink your teeth into. Let me know your thoughts on Alligator down in the comments section below. If you've already picked up this release from Scream Factory, please let me know your thoughts on it as well. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Thank you to all my patrons and channel members. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and have a say in what content appears on my channel. Join me for monthly live streams and much more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.